Do peptides actually work for muscle growth? No one wants to waste their time just jabbing themselves and hoping that these peptides work to help you build muscle. I mean, I've been there and I want to see things that actually move the needle. And what I've done is I've invested my time, my resources, my energy in learning the best peptides to help you accelerate your body's ability to heal and put on muscle and to extend your lifespan and your health span without risking or compromising any kind of future health. So I'm Regan Archibald. I'm the founder of East West Health. I'm the creator of the Ageless Future model. And what I'm going to show you today is exactly how peptides work to build muscle mass. And if you stick with me to the end of the video, I'm going to show you the very specialized stacks, peptide stacks that you can use to transform your health today. So at East West, the people who work with us are these phenomenal entrepreneurs who are usually in their mid 40s to 85. And what they're really looking to do is optimize their health so that they can help more people. And I love working with humans that really have a desire to do good on the planet. And I think entrepreneurs are some of the brightest, most capable resource that we have on the planet, but they also take on the most risk. So you guys get too stressed out. And so my job is to help prevent some of the diseases like heart disease, diabetes, cognitive decline, and most importantly, stress. And then to help you prioritize your health so that you don't fall into the traps. Now, many of you come to me and you say, hey, I want to put on some muscle. And do peptides really work for muscle growth? And I'll tell you, there's a client of mine that came, he was 54 years old, and he was skeptical. And he said, you know what, Regan, I can't find any of these like clinical studies and clinical trials on peptides. And I'm like, well, here's some things you can look at. And yes, there may not be the clinical trials that we all want. We'd love to have, just endless mountains of data on these, but we actually know the mechanism of action. And if you know the mechanism of action and you understand your biology and you have the right labs to back it up, so we ran comprehensive blood labs, that's when you can really make the most difference. So the other thing he had is he had chronic pain in his knees, he had tendonitis from playing too much pickleball. And he noticed that he just had this low level of cognitive decline. Like he said it's not a big deal, like he could still do numbers in his head, but he found that when he would talk to people, he just didn't have that creativity. Like he couldn't solve problems. And actually problems used to really excite him. And he found that the problems now, when they came to him, he just got overwhelmed by them. And so as we ran his labs, we found a lot of markers. We found that his hemoglobin A1C was 5.9, so he was in that pre-diabetic state. We also found his liver enzymes were elevated, so we had to get him off alcohol. And many of you don't want to hear that, but just getting off alcohol can make such a difference in your brain performance. We found in his labs his homocysteine was elevated, so we had a lot of this, like some of that brain fog came from an inflammatory marker called homocysteine. And that also jeopardized his cardiovascular function. And so as we went through some of these diagnostics, as we started talking about peptides for muscle growth, because that was his big thing. He said, look, I've got a wedding for my daughter. I don't want to look like the fat man in the picture. And so I said, no problem. Let's get you looking ripped. He was a college athlete. And so, he played football. He was, big frame, kind of my size. Okay, not really. I'm pretty small. So he had all this, he had this great physique, but it was just covered with some tissue that he didn't want. So he said, let's get rid of that fat and let's see if we can't improve your endurance. But it's going to take effort on your part. You're going to have to start working out. You're going to have to start eating the right foods. And then what the peptides do is they just turn on the genes that have been dormant. We're just going to start the engine again the way that it was triggered when you're in your 20s and just crushing it in football. And he said, okay. And I actually showed him some of the studies on how well these peptides can work when it comes to building muscle. So which peptides are they? And I bet you could guess some of the peptides that we're going to cover today. So one of the first things we did is we ran him through our Fitness 50 benchmarks. And what we learned in the Fitness 50 benchmarks is that his balance was off. So go ahead and do yourself a favor and stand on one leg and look at something in the distance and time yourself. If you can't do it for at least 30 seconds, there's some neurological problems. And he was asking, like, why are you doing a balance exercise for me? And I said, well, in order to build muscle, you've got to work on the neuroanatomy first. You've got to make sure that your brain is actually firing to the muscles. And many of you just think your muscles are just like moving on their own, but actually it's your brain that moves the muscles. It's the neuroanatomy that makes all the difference. So we actually had him start doing these exercises to help with proprioception called Qigong. And Qigong helps you move your body in new dynamic ways at a very slow pace, and it's a great way of mitigating stress. Because if we can get your stress levels down, it's so much easier to lose weight, as many of you have noticed. And then as you're losing the weight, you're going to be building muscle at the same time. So he started doing these Qigong movements. He was doing breathing exercises. And what we learned is we taught him this Wim Hof breathing. And if you've never done Wim Hof breathing, you got to check it out. He's the Iceman. We're actually doing a study with Wim Hof, and we're looking for participants. So if you're interested in being in this Wim Hof study where we're going to test your brain function, your carotid artery scan, we're going to look at your biological age versus chronological age, your VO2 max, and then we're going to have you do the Wim Hof breathing and ice baths. I shouldn't have said that part because no one's going to reach out to me, but we're going to see the changes that just breathing and having some cold exposure can do to your physiology over the course of a day. It's going to be really fun. So just email me, Regan@agelessfuture.com, and we'll take care of you and get you enrolled in the study. We got this patient doing that, and he was resistant to the cold plunges. But once he started doing it, it's like, I feel really invigorated. Like every day, I can't wait to go jump in my cold plunge, and then I go do my workout. And as we started getting him on peptides, we said, okay, you need peptides to help with this proprioception. So one of the peptides we got him on is called 5-amino-1-MQ. And in the research, what 5-amino-1-MQ does is it allows muscle contractility in the soleus, the muscle on your lower leg, to contract 27% greater than without 5-amino-1-MQ. And he noticed pretty instantly that his balance improved because we also had him on another peptide called sarcotropin. And sarcotropin is a peptide that has 2 growth hormone releasing peptides in it. It also has vitamin D2, vitamin K3, the M7 kind, so it clears out any kind of plaque accumulation in the arteries. This also has DMAOs for the brain. And then we got him on RG3 synapsin, which is a really powerful nasal spray that's got the ginsengenoids, it's got methylcobalamin, which is vitamin B12, and then it has some of the precursors, NNM, for NAD. And so he started using these, and then he could easily, reshifted his balance. But what most of us don't realize is we start aging very quickly, and then our balance goes off. And then when our balance goes off, our power in our muscle and our fast twitch muscle fibers starts to diminish. And so as we got him on these peptides, he noticed within 30 days, he's like, I feel 20 years younger. And he said, I feel like I can run the same drills. He said, I'm actually sprinting around my house a little bit, and it's like the old football players coming back. We dusted off things in his body. And here's the result. If you look at the change in his body by using some of these peptides, stacking them sequentially, and we also use some follistatin inhibitors. So we use MOTC, we use ACE031, and he noticed that he could pull out 2 or 3 more repetitions when he's lifting weights. But here's the big thing that changed in his body composition. Okay, so 6 months later, we ran him through the same array of tests. And one of the things we did at the beginning is we looked at his total fat mass. We looked at his body composition score through DEXA scan. And what he did is he was able to gain 11.2 pounds of lean muscle. Now, this is impressive because most people don't do this in their mid-50s. The second thing he did is he lost 7% of his total fat, and then his endurance and his VO2 max improved by 30%, and his strength output improved by 31%. So not only was he stronger, but he had healthier muscles, his balance was restored, and he lost a bunch of fat. So guess what he looked like at the wedding? He looked like this fit football player, and people were just shocked at how much change he'd made in such a small amount of time. And I can tell you that in cases like his, based on where his labs were, diet and lifestyle would have taken 3 years to get him where he got. It was the peptides that we stacked in, and using them based on his labs and based on his goals, using that data allowed us to turn on the right genes so that he could actually find that inner athlete that was there all along. And now he's a much healthier, much happier, much more fit human, and he's got some great pictures on the wall to prove it. So if you love that video and if you're like, hey, do peptides really work for muscle? What do I do? Which ones do I stack? Well, make sure, first of all, that you subscribe to the channel because it does help us, and it also will help you find more videos like this, and share it with your friends, family, and loved ones if you think they would benefit from it. But then also follow me on the next video because I'm going to show you the exact stack I've used for thousands of clients to help them change their body composition for good. And I'll see you there.